I'm really glad we're talking about this because we wanted to talk about a hot topic in the media right now.
A hot topic in the media right now. Basically, we're...
You're so rude.
Basically, Rowan wants to cosplay as Candace Owens. Have you checked her comment section out recently?
I honestly haven't. What was it saying?
Everyone is telling her that she has found her true calling.
Yeah, it's not politics, babe. Get into the business.
And that she should actually just be a celebrity commentator.
She is fucking killing it. She's funny. She's good with it.
She's killing it.
I did see her comments a couple days ago, and people were commenting I think everybody forgets she was a journalist first. She had the history with this, and she just decided to go, just to that side.
I've never been a massive Candace Owens supporter.
No.
I did not even know who she was until a year or two ago.
It just reminds me of Tommy Lauren. Do you remember her? The blonde?
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
People loved her. But that's what I thought of when I first saw Candace Owens stuff. I don't care for Candace Owens. I don't follow her her stuff. I'm not in agreement with all her takes on, I'd say, a majority of the stuff she talks about.
Anyway, we want to talk real quick about the Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni nonsense.
I mean, it's a hot topic, like I said, even if you want to make fun of me for saying it that way. I feel like it's actually kind of controversial. People are on really opposite ends of this.
They are. Even I think we were kind of on opposite ends for a second.
I think so. For a minute. Where do we start? Let's do that.
I have been a Blake Lively fan for a hot minute. If you go look at my Pinterest board, every hair inspo picture I've ever pinned has been some version of Serena Vanderwoodson.
It's just so funny because that's the one thing people make fun of her for so heavily.
We literally just talked a couple weeks ago about slut hair. I want my hair to look like that at all times. My hair does not look like that. I don't have the texture for that. I don't have that. But I love her, okay? Her and Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, okay? One of my first queer awakenings. Come on. But when this all came out, there was not for a single moment that I believed her.
Which is so funny because I think I felt the same, but for a different reason. I remember distinctly telling my mom a few months ago about some stuff, and I was just you don't believe women? And she was not all women. And I was I was taken aback because I know the statistics around it.
Yeah.
I've personally been through it. I understand how hard it is to actually speak out. So I was hearing the situation for the first time. I think I took a step back because okay, my gut was saying I didn't believe it, but I didn't know what to do with that.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. We didn't have enough information at the time, though, either. We only knew one side.
Yes. I remember when they first started doing the marketing for the movie. And I remember when they first, number one, even just announced the movie and who was in it and started doing teasers and trailers and everything. I was this looks like it's going to be shit. But I'm going to pretend to be excited because you. And in case anyone doesn't know, which that would be really disappointing, the biggest Colleen Hoover bitch ever is sitting on my couch.
But I can wear that title proudly.
You can. You've earned it.
Well, look, what the people don't know that is the coolest thing to ever happen to me.
Yes.
I have to share it, okay?
Go ahead, share it.
Even though people hate Colleen right now, I'm still going to say it. This was 2 or 3 years ago. Her book, Reminders of Him, the main character's name is Kenna Rowan, after my sister and myself. And no, people don't believe me, but we have evidence. She basically saw our names in her Facebook group page and said she was going to write a book about us one day. And then a year later, she posted and tagged us in it and then sent us honorary copies. And I got to talk to her on the phone. It was really freaking cool.
It was really cool.
It was
really
cool.
Cute.
It was the coolest thing that ever happened to me. It was. And now everybody hates her, so nobody's going to actually think it's cool anymore. But it was really freaking cool, okay? I've read her books since I was 16. So
yes, she has a very special place in your heart. And I know that. And so I faked the enthusiasm.
I get it. Some people hate her work.
I don't hate her work. Hopeless is what got me back into reading.
It's a good book.
I don't hate her work. She just doesn't. She doesn't do it for me.
And I totally get that. But I think
she's a good author.
Yeah.
But it was very clear from the minute they started marketing this film, I knew what this book was about.
Mm-hmm.
I've never read it. I'll disclaim that. But again, I'm married to the biggest Colleen Hoover bitch on the planet. I know what this book is about. I know what all of her books are about. I could probably write an essay on every single book.
You can make a little Quizlet on it.
I probably could. And so I knew what the book was about. I knew that it was a really heavy book. Like, I knew, you know what I mean? Wear your florals.
The promotion.
It was terrible.
Yeah. And I'm sure you've seen, like, people are online are trying to say it was Sony's. That's the way they wanted to do it. But it was still interesting how...
It was terrible. And if you watch the junkets closely, all of her other co-stars are just fucking miserable.
They are. Brandon. I think it's Brandon.
Brandon Skarsgård.
I know he's in 1923, which is so good.
He looks like he wants to off himself.
Yeah.
He is so fucking done. You know what he looks like?
What?
He looks like Dakota Johnson in the fucking
the Spider
movie. Because she got fucked. Because she got fucked in the ass.
Yeah.
And she was over it, and she said, I'm here because I'm contractually obligated to be here, and that's it.
Yep.
And that's exactly why he was there.
Yeah. Like, okay, rewinding a little bit for me. I never had anything against Blake Lively, but I knew that I felt like there was always, like, two sides of it. It was like, you either hate her or you love her. Like, there was no in between, but I always felt kind of in between. Like, didn't hate her, wasn't obsessed with her either. I thought at the time, prior to all of this, like, I thought her and Ryan Reynolds kind of cute. You know, like, I liked their banter and whatever they had going on. And I think you and I were talking about this on the phone the other day. The one thing I did appreciate about Blake Lively was that she was one of the only celebrities to ever go on a stage and actually advocate about, like, sex trafficking in children and, like, protecting our kids. I'm not saying there isn't someone out there that has done it.
She was a very big face.
She was a big face for it. Thank you. Yeah. That's the right way to say it. So, like, I just appreciate that, and that was, years ago now. I won't lie, I didn't love her for the casting because I am a Colleen Hoover fan. I have read the book multiple times. Like, I didn't see it, but I also trusted the process. Like, it is what it is. You know, they know what they're doing. I'm sitting here on my couch. I'm not in fucking Hollywood making movies.
Yeah.
But as soon as all of this came out, it was really weird for me because I really just wanted, I mean, you want to believe a woman. Like, I feel like we're both very strongly, we're passionate about that. You know how they say, like, what is it, like, innocent till proven guilty? It's like, we believe women until proven we shouldn't.
Yes, 100%.
Right? And so, like, that was what my instinct was, but at the same time, my gut was telling me, it's like, I don't know.
There was nothing in me that, like, and we don't know these people. So, like, we should not have any gut reactions about these people. Like, I know that's valid. But, like,
I don't know.
Looking at the facts now, in hindsight, I feel very validated in that gut feeling. Because, just no.
Everything I'd ever learned about Justin, and like you said, we don't actually know them, but you can get gut feelings through a computer screen. You can get gut feelings from just, like, watching people interact as their true self, whether it's on a TV or in person. I think you can, just like you can hear it in someone's voice.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think intuition's a real thing personally, and I just never had a single bad vibe from Justin Baldoni. I never had a real good or bad vibe about Blake. I won't lie. It was neither here nor there for me. Yeah. But when this situation happened, I was very confused. And the main reason, honestly, was because Colleen had taken Blake's side. Yeah. And I didn't really know either of them well enough. I mean, I know I don't know them, but I'm just saying, history-wise, for my life, I knew way more about who Colleen is as a person. I know her character based on my interactions with her and her community, and I know how she has gone against the mold. And people are saying she sold out, right? She's not one to just sell out. Like, that's what I've learned through years of being a fan of her. And so I was sitting there when this all broke, and I was like, okay, but what is going on? Because if Colleen is taking her side, is it true? Like, it would make me question it. I don't know.
Well, and so a lot of people are saying that she's sold out because Justin Baldoni currently owns the rights to, it's just one sequel, correct?
It starts with us,
Yeah. And so in the clause where when she sold him the rights, there's a clause that says that if the new owner were to be accused of anything like sexual harassment, then the ownership would revert back to Colleen.
Yes.
And so that's why so many people are saying, oh, she's sold out. She's jumped on this Blake bandwagon because now that he's being accused of these things, it looks good to have Colleen on her side.
Yeah.
And then if he does, in fact, be proven guilty, then Colleen and Blake aka Ryan Reynolds, because I think he's the real fucking villain.
You're on par with the Candace take, right?
I really am.
Yeah.
I really am.
Which I know not everybody is following this intimately, but basically Candace's take is, if you want to
Candace's take is that Ryan Reynolds came home after the SAG-AFTRA strike, after he was done filming Wolverine, because Wolverine and It Ends With Us were filming at the same time, right? And then during the SAG-AFTRA strike, everybody had to come home. And they're saying that when everybody came home, It Ends With Us had to finish filming. And that's when he started coming on set. There was a big argument on set. He started coming on set more. He started taking over everything. He started asking for the dailies. But he wasn't asking for the dailies. Blake was asking for the dailies. And Candace made a very good point. Okay? Blake is... Justin gave these people everything, right? Props to this man. That's another reason why I'm like, the man's not guilty.
Well, he is showing receipts, and people are even trying to skew it. Like, he's literally showing you.
He's literally showing us everything. Yeah. He says, "I have no fucking secrets. Take my phone."
When his lawyer got on there and said, "We're gonna sue them into obliteration," I think everybody kind of knew. They're like, "Oh, you don't say that unless you got it. You got the basis to back it up."
Yeah. And so she showed the email where Blake is asking for the dailies, and she was like, "Let me put you this in perspective for everybody, right? Because that's not like no one really, unless you're in the industry, you don't actually understand what that is. The dailies are nonstop filming from the minute everyone is on set until the minute the last person leaves set. We are talking hours and hours and hours of footage that they are requesting to comb through. Blake has several children. Blake has a newborn. Blake's still nursing. Blake's pumping. Blake's still filming and doing all of it. Blake does not have time to sit on her ass and scroll through the motherfucking dailies. You know who does, though? Because his film just finished filming and he's sitting at home on his ass doing nothing? Ryan fucking Reynolds. Here's what I think happened. Here's what I think happened.
I'm ready.
I think he came home. I think that he looked at his little security camera. I think, Candace, you're fucking right on this one. Men love their little security cameras.
I mean, Henry loves his.
That's what I'm saying. They love it. Men get a boner for a security camera.
I sure do.
I think he saw...
Ring doorbell? Let's get some going.
Seriously. I think he saw Justin coming over, hanging out with the fam. Blake and him are getting to know each other, right? They're working on this film together. I don't think anything bad happened. You look at Emily Baldoni, that's a satisfied wife.
I saw someone put that on TikTok and people were like appalled. I was like, is that not something we all think about?
Emily Baldoni has no qualms about her marriage.
But
that woman is secure in her marriage. She is good. I don't think anything nefarious happened. I really don't. What I do know is, you know who has a really bad track history of falling in love with their co-stars? Blake Lively.
And who also has a bad history with his partners and wife, Ryan Reynolds. His Justin's wife. I know, again, we don't know them. Honestly, we're talking out of our asses. It's all based on our own intuition and, findings of the evidence, but she does not seem like someone who would stand by someone who actually did that stuff. She really doesn't come across that way to me.
You talking about Justin's wife?
Yeah.
Absolutely not. No, she'd fuck him up.
That's what I'm saying. And people were talking about, okay, so the voicemail, right?
Yes.
Which also, total side note, but the fucking gag order that they're trying to put, like the way they're like, he can't be putting all this, it's going to influence jury. I just thought it was so funny. I'm like, you want him to shut up, really? Just be more obvious.
Yeah.
That was so funny. Where was I?
The voice memo.
Thank you. The voice memo. People were going one of two ways with it. Some people were like, it was mostly the book talk girls. They were like, oh, you're telling me you want to catch feelings?
Yeah.
And then
I know, I was listening to it and I was like, oh my God, I need to turn this down. Someone might overhear me.
I won't lie. When the first time I listened to it, I was just scrolling when I found it and I was laying in bed. It was like 10 o'clock at night. Henry was turned over. And so it started playing. I was like, it felt like I was doing something wrong.
It did, I know.
But obviously, once I heard the actual words coming out, I realized. But, the way his voice is. But with that, so some people were obviously like, I get it too. I'd fall in love as well. And then other people were like, if I got this, I'd be so freaked out. Totally.
She literally sent him a text message that was a goddamn novel.
Yes.
15 minutes prior.
And personally, I would rather send you a good voice note rather than a text.
They had a history of sending each other voice notes.
Yes.
It was not off the wall.
But either way, what he was saying, people were commenting on what he was saying and the way he was saying it. And thankfully, I'm so glad, of course, we got the internet. People finally started posting his previous podcast episodes and interviews, and they're like, this is literally just how he is. I don't know how you actually say his religion, but Baha'i? I've never looked up how you pronounce it, but it's very common just like to genuinely lead with love and empathy, compassion, and just vocalize it. Like, one of his biggest platforms is like trying to help men become more in tune with their emotions and feelings. And so I think he's just leading by example. That's been my take on it. It's like he genuinely believes everything he's saying. I obviously can't speak to that for sure, but that's what I've gotten all along. And so that voice note, although, yeah, sure, you listen, you're like, oh, okay, this feels a little intimate. I think it's just genuinely how he is. I think he is really who he says he is. I don't know.
I agree.
And I'm not saying I couldn't be swayed if there was evidence saying otherwise, but so far, I don't feel like we have been swayed.
I haven't. I sure haven't.
I mean, it feels bad. Like,
I'm not, like, here's the thing is I don't think that Blake is this awful person. Like, I don't think necessarily that Blake is this awful lying person. I don't think that it was Blake who made the first accusation.
You really feel like
I really feel like it was Ryan. I'm going to be honest. That's where I'm putting my fucking coins in.
Yeah. I could also see some of that truth, as well as, I think Blake may have gotten the ick. Honestly, I could see, because hear me out. She does look uncomfortable a little bit in that video. Remember, like, the one they released? And people were speculating, like, oh, she looks in love. Oh, she looks uncomfortable, whatever, all this stuff. We can only see and say so much, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think about those guys that sometimes, like, there's no reason you shouldn't like them, or even as, like, a friend, but you just, something about them, just like, ugh, gross. I think she also could have maybe gotten the ick, and she was a little uncomfortable. And maybe you're right. Maybe Ryan took it and ran. Maybe she said something offhand. Maybe she actually did fall in love with them. We'll never actually know. But there's something very off, and we're missing a piece for sure. But I could definitely see her kind of just being like, "Oh, who is this guy?" You know?
I just think it's so interesting. I don't know, just the way that she steamrolled. This entire film.
And the whole thing that I noticed that people were pointing out, and I do think it's really fascinating, is that she was like so passionate and vocal in those texts about how she's been pushed around, she's been forgotten about, she's not been credited for all this hard work. And that's valid if that's true. Like, she's just vocalizing it. And then she goes on the red carpet and says, my husband wrote the scene that she was telling Justin she wrote. So which is it, and why did it change? Is he forcing your hand? Did he really write it? Did he collaborate? Did he take over? Like, what happened?
Yeah.
I would love to know that.
Because the Sony execs were like, why is she saying this? Mm-hmm. His name's not on the credits. Do we need to add his name to the credits?
Sony, honestly, I know that they pushed over a little bit, because honestly, I think a lot of people would have, just to get the movie done. I mean, it's clear what Justin did, but I mean, regardless of that, I think that it's very natural. Like, at that point in the game, you're just like, all right, fuck it. Let's just give her what she wants. Let's just move past this. But I do think like Sony may actually be a pretty true middle ground when it comes to both of them. It doesn't seem like they really took either side.
Yeah.
I think they did what they needed to do to finalize the movie, get it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people did. I mean, hell, even Justin did it. He was doing what he needed to do. And he genuinely hoped and thought that if he was kind, if he was nice, if he was accommodating, if he gave her a place to feel seen and heard and all these things, that it would be okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So then, did you see... I watched a couple videos from a couple different like creators, because you know how when they have like movie premieres, they'll invite like smaller creators and like little celebrities, right, to come to these things. They had 2 separate theaters.
Oh yeah, did you see the photo
of them in the basement?
Yes, that was so sad.
That is so crazy.
I actually wanted to cry, and I don't like cry. I'm a crier, but I don't cry for other people. So like, it made me so sad.
This one girl that I watched gave like a very detailed like explanation of what happened during the premiere, and she was like, I thought it was weird, but like I didn't think anything too much of it until like all of this has come out now. So she said that she got to the premiere, everyone walked the red carpet, and then they were basically like, okay, there's an hour until the movie starts. And she was like, that never happens. She goes,
is it the girl that went to get the margarita? Or like,
yes.
Yeah, I like her.
She was like, that never happens. That's not normal. Like, what do you mean? And And so she was like, yeah, we just went and got margaritas. And I was like,
shit you and I would do.
Yeah, go off, bestie. And then they came back, and there was 2 separate theaters. One where Blake and everyone was, and then another one where Justin and everyone was. That is so insane.
And here's the deal. If he really did what she says and claims he did, you can understand it, right? Like, if you think about it that way, like, wide view of it all, it's not as insane if he really did what she's accusing him of. But with all the evidence, fucked up.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I don't know, dude. I think one thing that keeps hanging me up, and I understand that Colleen's going to protect herself, and also, I mean, her mental health, like, and I'm not just trying to justify her, like, I think shitty people should not do shitty things. I'm not saying Colleen is one of those people, but in a general sense. But she obviously, deactivated her social media. She's been quiet. She posted on the Facebook group, like, a couple weeks ago, like, kind of addressing things, but kind of went around it, too, because, I mean, things were still kind of murky at that point.
I don't know.
Go ahead, sorry.
I don't feel like that's right.
Which part?
I don't feel like she should be able to just disappear.
I'm not saying she should, but I'm saying I know that people, they will.
I get it.
Like, they're going to step away until they process it.
If she, as a human, needs to step away,
but she's
valid.
She's got a platform that
she needs to have someone in her team that can step the fuck up.
Yeah. I'm not saying I really agree with that. I'm just saying, like, I understand if she's stepping away, like, if she's having mental health due like, like, if this is really debilitating for her, then I understand why.
Would be valid because
this is a lot.
They tainted her baby.
They did. This was her debut. I mean, she has some other, options out. Like, other people have purchased her.
Well,
and making the one.
Anne Hathaway is fucking staring this situation down. I
wonder what's going to happen.
Wondering if she's going to step out of Verity.
Yeah, but, like, this is a very big deal. Like, if we take the conspiracy out of Colleen, like, let's just look at it kind of objectively. This was her shot.
Yeah.
And if she was truly innocent and just believing a woman, for example, like, if she really wasn't conspiring with Blake and this wasn't this thought out thing, like, that fucking sucks, dude.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine how that would feel and where do you go from there? What do you do?
Yeah.
But I'm stuck on, honestly, and I wish she would come out and address whether she has changed her tune. And I don't want her to change her tune for the sake of changing her tune. Like, if she still dies by Blake Lively's side, I honestly respect that more than her changing her tune just to make people happy, you know? Even if it's the wrong pick.
I really do feel like, again, I understand if, for the sake of being a human, Colleen needs to take a step back.
Yeah.
I get that. That is valid to me. But for the sake of Colleen's career, someone in her team needs to step the fuck up and be the voice of Colleen right now.
She honestly, and maybe I can only speculate, obviously. I'm not best friends with Colleen. I'm just a fan who has seen her. I mean, I started reading her at 16. I'm turning 29 this year. So, I mean, 13-ish years. I followed her, and I just don't buy the whole selling out thing personally, because I think regardless what you think of her writing, if you have followed her, if you have watched her in the media, like, yes, this is the biggest she's ever been. This was the biggest thing in her career, outside of her, just having a selling or hits, novel, whatever. But she's just not one to just go with the mold. She really isn't. I mean, there's plenty of stuff out there. I don't know. We don't know these people. I can't really say, but I just feel like once she addresses it, things will be better either way.
Agree.
And I mean, I really hope she comes out and says, like, hey, I didn't have any evidence. I just trusted, and now I see this. Change sides. That would be really nice. But she may die by what she said, honestly. I mean, sometimes
Which would be fine.
Some people double down. We don't know.
Which would be fine. I just feel like she shouldn't have disappeared.
I don't know. It's really hard when you're, I guess in my seat of it, it's like, I don't know, you're questioning it all, because similar to how I felt when we got the information, but there was really no evidence. I was just like, I don't know, like, something doesn't feel right, but like, I can't pinpoint it. So I don't know what her deal is, but I really hope you come out and talk, Colleen.
That's what I'm saying.
Please.
Like, I feel like she's been doing this for so long. She's worked so hard to get here.
Yeah.
And I mean, we can't speak for all of her fans, but I would say that most of her fans are pretty diehard.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I've read 2 of her books. I'll hear you out, Colleen. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not on a Colleen hate train because I haven't heard the bitch say anything about it.
No.
You know what I mean?
Well, and I think as her fans, as people that have followed her work for a long time, obviously she hasn't been put in a situation exactly like this. I can't say that how she would react for sure, but I do know that, I don't know, like she's always come across to me as a very genuine human who really cares. And like, say what you like want about her writing. I get that some people are like, oh, why would she write this? I've always gotten a very good, like, down to earth sense with her writing, and it's always been humorous, and there's stuff that made me cry. And like I said, I've been reading her books for 13 years, so I've just feel like she really, if she's going to get people to believe that she really didn't know or whatever she has to say, she does have to come and talk about it. She really does. And I don't know what I've seen people say they're not going to be her fan anymore, but like, I don't know. I'm not one to just like switch my mind that easily. Like, I need a little more. Yeah. A little more to it. I was going to say something, but I was just going to say, like, I think you and I are very similar in this way. I'm not one to just like be a fan of someone. Like, I have a couple authors I really like, but like, I'm not like die hard for all of them, right? I have celebrities I think are cool, whatever, appreciate their platforms. I'm not like a die hard for, honestly, pretty much anybody in like social media. I don't know. Like, I feel like you're similar. We just don't.
I'm the same way.
So
there are very few people that like I would say I'm an actual like, real life fan of.
Aspen over.
Aspen.
But Colleen is my
Aspen. If you see this, call me.
Yeah, she's loved you for a long time.
I'll kiss you if you want to still be a lesbian. I'll do that with you.
Don't make a joke out of her sexuality.
I'm making a joke out of mine.
Yeah, it's fair.
And it's also not a joke.
You're like, I will do it with tongue right now.
Yes.
Good. Honestly, I feel like that would make your life.
It really would.
Aspen, please reach out if that is something you'd be, agree to. I feel like worth a shot here. I was just trying, I guess my point is, that was a very roundabout way of saying is that I don't die hard for a lot of people. I'm not someone who just like really enjoys celebrities per se.
Yeah.
Something about her just spoke to me at a young age, and I followed her through that, and I've seen a lot of different eras of her life, in the spotlight. And so I don't know, something I feel like we're still missing something. I don't know what it is, but I don't think she just sold out personally.
I agree. I think I really do. I don't see it being quite that black and white.
Yeah. I mean, you can poke holes in anything. You know what I mean? Like, people are bringing up the interview with her and Blake Lively about, I don't know verbatim, but Blake says, or they ask Blake and Colleen something along the lines of like, oh, will you guys be a part of the sequel and whatever? And she's like, oh, if I think she said if she has the rights or something, I'll follow her anywhere. I don't know exactly, but so people saw that and they're like, they've been planning this all along. This was the plot. This was it. This was the whole plan. I'm just like, I think maybe I humanize people too much. Where I'm like, come on, guys, they're humans. Like, yes, Hollywood can be bad. Yes, there are villains in the world, and there are bad guys that do conspire and really try to wreak havoc on everything. But like, I don't know. Like, look, Blake Lively, this is the first time she's really been under fire. Like, hardcore. I don't know. I don't think that she would just risk it like that. I don't know.
I don't know, because you say that, but I've been doing some real deep dives with Blake Lively.
What?
No one likes her.
Well, no. I mean, but fans. I'm talking about like the public eye though.
Like
they've genuinely geared towards her. Like they don't. You know what I mean? Like it's very rare you see something bad about her.
Not really. So, like, her interviews have always been terrible. And anytime that she has, like, a press junket, the majority of people are like, she's terrible. She's an awful person. Also, I don't know if you follow blind items. Like, I don't know if you ever look into them.
I do.
The blind items around this girl are so bad.
I haven't looked into her specifically, but I see them when they come up.
So terrible.
I'm not saying she's actually a good person, but I feel like I just have never really seen much discourse about her online until now.
But, like, also, you're not looking for it.
Yeah,
it's called a For You page for a reason.
That's true. I don't know. I don't get a lot of celebrity stuff on my For You page.
I don't either.
You know, like, I've gotten this because obviously I'm very interested and passionate about this situation. But I don't know. Maybe she would risk it. I don't know. But I'm not going to die by this, but right now I don't believe Colleen sold out. I don't believe this was a big conspiracy that Colleen was actively a part of. And that is the key word, actively. I'm not saying she didn't partake unknowingly to something, but I don't believe she was actively a part of it. I am subject to change my mind at any point with evidence. Thank you.
I kind of agree with you, though. Like, I really don't think I would be hard pressed to say that I could see Colleen actively trying to destroy a man's life.
Yeah, especially because this book is so deep and like meaningful to her
Yeah.
because of it's literally based on her mom's story. Like it's her mom and them breaking the generational curses. I don't see her. I don't know. I can't see
I
it.
can't see her actively choosing to destroy this man's life for no real reason.
For no reason. Like, unless
Yeah.
she truly believes something happened or something happened that we're not obviously aware of.
Yeah.
I don't believe something happened at this point. I think that things could have been misconstrued. Like, the whole theory, like, Blake has said in interviews that she's always just herself in her characters and she really, you know, doesn't have to act technically because she's just being herself, I guess. I don't really remember what they've said, but you know, you've seen that?
Yeah.
That whole thing. So people are like having this, I mean, they're theorizing that like she just wasn't like emotionally equipped to handle this kind of role because it's a little heavier. It's more intimate, not just like physically intimate, but emotionally intimate. Like it is a different kind of role. And, you know, you may be able to make Lily into Blake, you know, and make them interchangeable to a certain degree. But like when it comes to the actual moments on set, when Justin is feeling this with his whole heart and saying it with his whole chest and like trying to bring this story to light and she's over here not really sure what to do with it, she is uncomfortable. Like maybe there was, I don't know, I'm not justifying Blake Lively, I'm just saying like maybe she really wasn't.
I really think that you
just think Ryan Reynolds is
I think Ryan Reynolds is behind this. I'm not gonna lie.
But don't you feel like Ryan has been very loved in the media for a long time too?
Yes, because he's a manipulative son of a bitch.
Well, he's always come across a little narcissistic. He reminds me of my ex-husband.
Yes.
No, I'm not even trying to be funny. Do you see it?
Yes, so much.
He's always reminded me of him.
I've never been a massive fan of Ryan Reynolds.
And honestly, maybe it's a hot take. I don't think he's cute.
I think he is cute. I will give him that.
I'm not saying he's not like conventionally like symmetrically attractive.
I think he will. I think he is cute.
I think he just looks like another man.
So I hate to say what's about to come out of my mouth, but Candace Owens made a really good point.
I'm gonna tag Candace in this too.
This man, you see him on the internet, you see him on TV acting like a fool, like he's a young spring chicken goofing off doing all these bits. You know, he's only like 15 years away from getting the senior discount at Luby's or at IHOP or Denny. This is an old man.
He's like 45.
Yeah,
40 something.
This is an old man out here doing these things and causing all this chaos. And then, have you seen all the little clips from the Deadpool where he's out here just dissing motherfuckers?
Oh, did you see the whole thing about the credits too?
Yes.
Yeah.
Where they for those who didn't see that, they credited Deadpool in It Ends With Us.
Well, they credited Gordon Reynolds.
Yes.
Who is, when you look at the credits for Deadpool, Nice Pool, who they are saying is, they speculate Justin is based on Justin Baldoni. Baldoni? Baldoni. I was like, I don't actually know. I fucked it up. Sorry, Justin. Anyway, everybody's speculating that they put this character in Deadpool, Nice Pool, because he's. I think they're right. He comes across like they're making fun of Justin.
Yeah, very much.
And so when you look at the credits, it says Nice Pool, Gordon Reynolds, and then you go to the credits for It Ends With Us, and it says thank you to Gordon Reynolds.
Like, what the fuck?
So,
that's
like,
so immature.
Like, okay,
it's so gross.
We joke about our trauma, but I don't know. Like, I don't feel like that's joking about your trauma.
No.
Because I did see these online too. And, okay, as someone who's personally been through, I don't want to have to put trigger warnings on something. Like, I've been through some shit. Let's just say that. Someone who's personally been through some shit, and who was in a marriage that was quite a bit of shit. I don't believe you can put a box and say a woman should act a certain way when she's been harassed.
Yeah.
Or, you know, and or whatever else. People are going to handle things differently. But the more you look at the evidence, it doesn't add up to just like handling it the best you can. It adds up to something's not right. There's a difference, because I think a lot of people are taking, I don't know, being more on Justin's side to mean that like we're dismissing the reality of the situation, but I don't think that's true.
I think the reality of the situation is that she has an abusive husband.
It very well could be. I was wondering, regardless if he's abusive or not, I was wondering if she was going to like save face and leave him, like if her career was more important, or because if she's actually abused, she won't. She's going to be like Stockholm syndrome. You know what I mean?
I think that what happened is he found something that he didn't like.
What do you think it was?
I don't know.
Candace hasn't really speculated on it. Neither has any of the other, you know.
I don't know. I think that Candace knows.
She does have a lot of sources, it seems.
I think Candace knows. I think that it probably was a combination of seeing him over at the house, There's been mentions of a picture of him holding their baby.
Yeah, apparently he went over there when he was still filming Deadpool.
Yes.
And they were working on stuff. I don't know who was all there, but apparently he was holding the newborn.
Yes. I think that she probably was texting one of her close friends.
You really think it was that? You really think she liked him?
I think that here's what I think. I think that she was a newly postpartum mom.
Okay.
Whose husband was in Canada filming his own movie. She was filming her own movie. She had a baby who was fresh out the motherfucking womb. She's pumping. She's breastfeeding. She's juggling so many fucking hats. And this man looks at her and says, your contributions are heard and welcomed. No, for sure. I want to hear your ideas. I'm so excited to have you on this team. You're telling me that you wouldn't cream your fucking pants?
I don't think so if I was married in a good relationship. That's the thing.
But she's not. She's not, because look at her blind items. He's out here negotiating for her for movies and being such a dick with it that she loses the roles. She's not in a good marriage. He wants her to be at home with the kids. He doesn't want her to work. So he comes home, he sees whatever it is he sees, and she panics, and he's like, what is this? You fucking nice pool? And she says, no. He made me uncomfortable. He flirting with me or whatever. And then she came up with a list of bullshit reasons. Oh, showed me nudity. His wife's birthing video. Shut the fuck up, Blake. And then Ryan said, are you sure? And she said, yes. And he goes, because if I find out that you're lying to me, I'm leaving your ass.
I don't think he'd leave. I don't think he'd leave.
I think something.
I think he would leave if he found the next piece. I don't think he'd just leave, though.
Something. Yeah, I don't know. And so she had to stick to her guns.
She doubled down. Your theory, she doubled down.
She had to double down, and she had to be like, no, I didn't cheat on you. I didn't fall in love with this beautiful, dark-skinned man who no one can agree on.
I'm assuming you were Team Raphael.
Who no one can agree on his skin. Yes, I was Team Raphael. Are you kidding me?
The first time I watched it, I was Team Michael.
That's so
embarrassing. Then I grew up and I rewatched it again, and I was like, oh.
Michael was a crybaby.
But Michael, he was a crybaby, but also look at my ex-husband, so it tracks with who I married.
Whatever.
But I'm just saying, I rewatched it a couple years later.
So I think that's what happened. That's my theory. And if I'm right, I want everyone to Venmo me $5.
Oh, it would pay for your rent. Good. Here's my take on that. I think that would be really nice if that was the answer. But it feels like the obvious answer. It feels like the obvious answer because I don't know about you, but when this all first started and people, before there was any evidence, even saw an inkling of what Justin was going to bring to the table evidence-wise, like before all of that, people immediately started saying that Blake Lively was in love with him, blah, blah, blah. Like that was immediate.
How could you not?
Oh my God.
Respectfully.
And so for me, I was just like, okay, like, obviously that was back then, but I'm just saying, like, it feels like the obvious answer. It feels like it's so much easier to pigeonhole.
I don't think... Okay, but number one, it tracks. Look at her track record. It tracks. Number two, I'm going to bring up again that she was a newly postpartum mom.
That part I can agree with because I know...
Who was alone.
If you feel abandoned, you're literally going crazy anyway. Because,
yes.
You know, like, you're just...
She's going crazy because of the hormones. Her husband is gone, which means, respectfully, yes, she probably has 7 nannies. But, like, we're all moms. We know that as much help as you have from other people, not having help from your husband, it makes it not real.
Yeah, and even if you do have help, you feel immense guilt if you if you have help out. It's just, it's
hard. And
yeah.
I think that it was hormone-induced chaos.
Yeah. I think, well, like, honestly, I could see that. I really can. I don't know. Like, Candace keeps saying, we're missing, like, she's missing one piece. We're missing something. I don't know. I don't know what that something's going to be, but it would be, I don't know that it is the obvious answer, you know?
Yeah.
I just think about it, and, like, when I was at the lowest of lows in my marriage, especially postpartum, when, like, I would literally be waiting for her, you know, my son's dad to come home, and I'd be like, oh, good, I just want to shower, and be like, I don't want to do that, and walk to the bedroom. Like, I know, like, what that, you know what I mean? Like, I get it. Like, I know what it's like to be at those really low lows, and if you are in a really bad relationship where you just feel like you have no help, and I get that, and I want to believe, like, maybe there is some truth to it, but I don't know. I just feel like this has gone so far, and to double down so heavily, what's the missing piece?
Yeah.
And it really could be that the abuse is worse than we know, but I don't know. Like, I don't know how people skate by in the public eye without slip-ups. Like you said about her and her interviews in the past. Like, when you go back and watch it, oh my gosh, that one where she jokes about Leighton Meester.
Terrible.
Oh my gosh. That whole thing about, you know, being born in prison, that, and, you know, calling them zoo animals and monkeys and whatever. She's always been kind of shitty. I'm not saying she's like gem, 10 out of 10 kind of personality wise, or should be looked up to, but she skated by for a long time without, I mean, honestly, like anything crazy coming out besides like, kind of bitchy, kind of shitty person, but like nothing crazy. And think about Ryan, like nothing has ever come out. Like they've always skewed it towards the women when it comes to Ryan. Have you ever noticed that? But like, there's so much more behind the scenes than we're seeing.
Yeah.
And I don't think you can skate by in the public eye for so long without something coming up. And so I just don't know what it could be, but it doesn't feel like it's just going to be like, yep, I knew it. That was it. Like, I don't think we're going to be able to pinpoint. I think it's going to be a little bit of surprise, whatever it is.
I did not expect this to be a whole episode, but I think that we just had I think we're doing a whole episode on this.
So. It's almost dark. I really thought we were going to talk about this for like 15 minutes, but I guess we're very passionate about it.
Okay, not even just your coworker.
Yeah.
Because let's talk about that. Let's break that down. Was he meant to be in charge of her? Yes.
Mm-hmm. He was, like, as in he was the director?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Who was actually in charge of that movie, though? Let's take a fucking minute and break that down. Who made the final cut of that movie that he wasn't allowed to see, that Sony told the editors and him that they weren't allowed to see before the actual fucking premiere? That bitch. Mm-hmm. Who made so much more money
than anybody?
You saw that one clip where she was like, oh yeah, it's like a summer fun movie, but we didn't really have the budget, because the budget went to your $3 million paycheck.
Yeah.
While Justin walked home with $300,000.
And he produced the movie. And it was his studio. I mean, it was Sony, but like Wayfarer, he was backing a lot with this movie. He bought the book.
Like, what? Are you kidding? No one else made. Everyone else's salaries just went lower and lower and lower.
They were like all under
300.
Yeah.
Most of them were under 2. Why did she make $3 million off of this movie?
You know what I want to know? I actually don't know this. Do you know? Did they approach her? Or did she approach them to be in the movie? Which one was it? I don't know. Because I wouldn't. All these things aside, I wouldn't have picked her. Everybody knows Colleen Hoover fans have always fan cast her for Verity. They've always wanted her to be Verity because.
Really?
Have you read it? That's the one you haven't read,
no.
right?
I couldn't read Verity because kids.
Yeah, it's hard when you don't know what to expect, because I read it the night it came out on my phone, not even in my Kindle. This was pre-Kindle days. I read it on my phone in one sitting, and no one could prepare you for it. But all that said, she's fan casted. Like, for years, everybody has wanted her to be Verity, because if you read the book, you know the character type. So think like A Simple Favor. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
That on crack basically is Verity. So people are like, oh yeah, she's got this. Like, that's her. So I'm just curious who approached who. I actually don't know.
Interesting.
Because when Justin decided he wanted to make this movie and Colleen vocalized how important the story was, do I think having a big name was something they were against? No. But I don't necessarily think...
Justin Baldoni is a big enough name. Is he not?
No, yeah, exactly. And I don't necessarily think that he went and sought Blake Lively specifically, is what I guess I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I wonder if she threw her hat in. And then, obviously, you're a little starstruck, like, oh, she wants to actually be a part of our movie? I mean, let's think about that.
Okay, let's see. Okay, it looks like Christy Carlson was the casting director.
Wait, Christy Carlson Romano or a different Christy Carlson?
I don't know. There's no...
Is it Kim Possible? No, it's not Kim Possible. That's so funny, though. Continue.
And it looks like she reached out.
Interesting. I don't know. I have a hard time picturing them sitting down at a table saying, who do we want to consider for the cast, and immediately coming to her, you know?
Yeah.
I don't think she was the worst choice, but I just don't see her. You can tell that she doesn't feel the script. Like, she doesn't feel the story. I think that's what gets me about the way she approached the movie, is that it's not that her acting is bad per se. It's that you can tell she doesn't feel it in the way it's meant to be. felt and seen and displayed. She really doesn't do it justice.
Listen, so I finally watched the movie. I don't know when this movie was released. I'm going to be honest with you guys.
August 9th.
I can't see it. Trash. I remember when you were like, do you want to go see it ends with us?
I knew you didn't, but I had to offer.
Do you want to go see it ends with us with whoever it is you went with? And I was like, no.
Look, I had to offer. You're my best friend. It's the right thing to do, but I knew you were going to say no. At least I know you.
I know. And you know that I would have been pissed if you didn't invite me.
Oh, you went with all these other bitches, huh? Jealous wife over here.
I was telling Joy recently that, like, I just want to be invited so I can say no.
Yeah, no, you just like to be thought about.
I do. I'm never going to say yes. No. But, like, I just want to be invited.
Nah, it's fair.
Anyway, so I finally watched the movie because it's on Netflix already. Which, like, embarrassing, but whatever. And it was so bad. It was so bad.
There are some good parts in it.
I
was disappointed. I won't lie. Before we knew any of this shit,
there was a couple, like, cutesy moments, whatever. But, like, I was so disappointed.
I was too.
I really did. So I finally watched it, like, maybe 3 weeks ago. Like, it was very recently. After all of this had already come out. And I was like, I hope that we got a good movie out of this, at least. And I did. I got into bed. I ordered me some Taco Bell. And I sat down to watch this movie. And I was so disappointed in it. Like, it was so fucking frivolous.
Yeah, like, that's what I'm saying when I say she didn't feel it. Like, we all can make fun of her for not reading the book, but regardless, she didn't feel or understand the story whatsoever.
At all.
There was no depth there. Like, you don't have to even read the whole story to understand it. You know what I mean? Like, she just didn't get it.
She did not get it.
You can see how cold the lines are.
She did not get it.
I did not feel it from her. And it affected the whole movie. And honestly, like, I love you, Justin. He wasn't my first choice for Ryle either. Like, I understand how he ended up in the role. He wasn't my first choice. Like, the whole dynamic, something was off. Before we even knew any of this, a lot of people were disappointed. I was not in love with it. Like, I remember there was people crying in the movie theater, and I was like, am I just a bitch? Like, this kind of sucks.
If you guys want a really good movie about trauma to actually make you cry, go watch The Luckiest Girl Alive with Mila Kunis.
Oh, I've watched.
That was good. That one fucked me up.
Fucked me up. That, I feel like that needs a trigger warning, honestly.
Like, that's a hard one. But that's how you play those. Yeah. It's the same role.
There are parallels. There's similarities, for sure.
It's a little different. It's different trauma. It's different trauma.
But the way you can tell that she feels it, and honestly, I mean, Mila Kunis is a pretty solid actress, too. Like, yeah. I don't know if
is she the greatest actress in the world?
That's what I'm saying. Because it seems like when she takes on a role, she takes it on.
Yes.
And like Blake in A Simple Favor, I did like that movie. I thought she did a good job with it, which is why I could see her as Verity. Like, I understood.
But she also only acted like for 20 minutes in that whole movie.
Yeah, she really, honestly, Anna Kendrick.
That was Anna's movie.
People hate on Anna Kendrick, but she's honestly pretty fucking good.
I would fuck the shit out of Anna Kendrick too.
Also Dakota Johnson. I guess that's my type.
Okay. I would also do Dakota Johnson.
She's supposed to be in Verity, technically.
Shut up.
You didn't know that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I forget who else. There's another, I don't know the guy. The men are never that important, apparently.
And yet we claim to be straight.
Our men are important. We don't care about other men.
Right.
That was what I meant. Women are better. But yeah, she's supposed to be she's supposed to be Lowen, the actual main character, not Verity. Even though Verity's,
yes, a whole movie of just Dakota Johnson.
I mean, I could be totally wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's like actually supposed to be happening.
Maybe we'll see, because what I'm going to tell you right now is that if Colleen doesn't get her shit together, the first person to drop this motherfucking movie is going to be Dakota Johnson, because
she got fucked over.
Because what Dakota Johnson learned last year is to read her motherfucking contracts. And she probably hired 6 more lawyers.
I can't believe her team didn't catch that, honestly.
I know.
Because I would overlook that as a person, but her team should have caught that shit.
I bet that bitch hired 6 more lawyers, and she said, this will never happen again.
Yeah. No.
God, I love her.
I wonder if they've already signed contracts and because this was all, like they were announcing the cast earlier than all the stuff came
I'm
out.
sure they haven't started filming, though. I'm sure there's a backup period.
I think they're still in pre-production. I think so. But she's had like 2 or 3 of her other books optioned too. She has a lot going on, and she has a very good opportunity it's not about saving face anymore. Like, if she was truly duped by this whole situation, her coming out and saying it, yeah, people may be like, oh, I knew that we were right, whatever. But, like, ultimately, that will be so much better for her career in the long run instead of doubling down or going silent because you're scared of a backlash.
I agree.
She genuinely has so many amazing fans out there, like, who really love her and value her as as a writer and as an artist and what she's putting into the world. The few haters don't matter if she is able to be honest. We just don't know. We don't know. Yeah. Until she actually says anything. We can't confirm or deny, and that's the hardest fucking part of it.
Yeah. I agree. Anyways, if you guys have any fan theories, please drop them below.
We really thought we were going to talk about something else, but we did that. We are very passionate. I don't know. I guess we can talk about other things.
This really I guess we can talk about. Welcome to Our Graves. We're not a sex podcast.
No, we're pop culture.
We're pop culture. I don't think we have it in us to actually be a pop culture podcast.
No. So one of, I know I've told you about this podcast, the Vial Files. They have some good segments. There's like this Ask Nick segment. Then they interview people that are hot in the media right now. Like, it's a really good for those moments. But they started covering pop culture shit, and I literally am like, skip, whatever seconds you push on your Spotify, you're like, move.
He did an episode with Aspen.
Yeah.
When I tell you guys,
and he did an episode with all the Mormon wives.
Oh yes, they did.
And just Taylor.
Yeah, I watched the Taylor episode. I didn't watch the episode with everyone else.
I did. I mean, honestly, it was really hard to hear them all.
I don't give a fuck about everyone else. I just care about Taylor.
It's a bold statement.
It's my girl. I'm just kidding. I do like Layla.
How did you not say that first? You have history with Layla.
I do have history with Layla.
She talked to Layla in the DMs years ago.
Yeah, we're friends.
Ish.
Let me live my life.
We're adjacent.
We're friends.
Well, if you're friends with Layla, that means you're adjacent to Aspen for sure.
For sure.
But
Layla,
hit your girl
tag her in this when you post it. Layla, connect me to Aspen. Hit me up with our girl.
Yeah, but all that say, I don't think I could cover pop culture all the time. Only the ones I really care about.
For sure.
I don't know.
Because there's so little that I actually care about.
Exactly.
Everything else is so boring.
It's so boring.
Anyways.
This has been Our Graves. I'm Rowan.
I'm Melissa.
And
this was a really good episode.
This was so much fun. We could probably talk for hours about
this. We just needed a gab. This was therapeutic to talk about someone else's problems.
Not our own. We've had way too many of our own. I walked in here and I said, I'm really glad that you're not crying right now because I need a good cry. It was my turn. I needed one. I was like, sometimes it just be like that.
Sometimes it really do.
But yeah, we'll catch you on the flip side.
Motherfuckers.